Hello, and welcome to another edition of It Is What It Is. Welcome to the Church Dropout channel. My name is Alan. I'm the host. If you have not already, please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this at. Drop a comment below. Keep the conversation moving forward. I want to start with a question. Does anybody else feel exhausted, tired? I have been having this conversation with some friends of mine, just in terms of just feeling the weight of everything. I feel like it's a terrible time to be online. Not only are you having to deal with what's going on in your personal life, what's going on, in your own home, so to speak, but what's also going on in your immediate area of influence. In the age of social media and the age of onlineness, I guess, you're now privy to things that you would have never, ever been privy to before, both positively and negatively. And unfortunately, the negative things get highlighted much more. But then there are things that just happen in the world today. There's natural disasters, prayers to those who are in Florida. There's just a ton of things happening in the world. And, being online, everything is there. You open up your phone and you got alerts, right? You open up you open up your phone, you got alerts, you open up a certain app and you're being alerted. You turn on the television and they're reporting it. There's just a lot, a lot to deal with, a lot happening. And I'm exhausted, if I could be honest with you. I don't know if you knew this, but October 18th, I believe it was, right? Let me look it up just to be sure. No, October 10th, I'm sorry, was, I think it was World Mental Health Day. World Mental Health Day. You work in the culture, these things are talked about or brought up. And so anyway, it was World Mental Health Day. And as a person who has had some mental health struggles, these things, the constant barrage of information, taking in so much, takes its toll. And yeah, I know that there are others who are feeling it too, just weary. And it can get to you, it can get to you. And like I said, I've been having conversations with friends who have been in the same position, been feeling the same thing, just, overwhelmed by the weight of the world. And, as time goes on, it doesn't get easier. But, I want to, I guess, just give a few things here that I think have helped me process some of this and understand, to be able to better work through this and work through some of these things. And so I want to share them with you. One, I would just say, turn it off. Turn it off. You don't have to be connected all the time. It's just common sense. When I was younger, some of you guys can remember this, but, we didn't walk around with cell phones. We didn't have phones on our hips, right? You wanted to get in contact with somebody, the best you can do was page them. But that person still would have to find a phone. And so, you weren't able to, get a hold of anyone immediately, but, then also you weren't able to be gotten a hold of immediately, if that's correct. And it feels like it was just less of a stressful time. Now, I'm not saying it's not a blessing. I'm just saying that it just felt a little bit different. We didn't have these massive computers in our hands that, people could find you anywhere you are. You can get any bit of information, and so when I say turn it off, it could feel like a panic in and of itself, because we're so used to accessing and being accessed, that to turn it off means that it feels like we are being insensitive and turning off portions of our world, that everyone deserves to be able to get in contact with you. And that's there, couldn't anything be further from the truth in that instance. And so turn it off. You know what I mean? Put boundaries up, detach, just turn it off, also, a second thing is just, cast your cares. The scripture tells us as Christians that, we don't have to carry this weight, that we can cast our cares on Jesus, right? And, but that's an offense thing. It's not a defensive thing, right? Stop playing defense with your emotions, right? Stop waiting until you get there to start transferring. You know what I mean? Like, start planning ahead. Don't wait until your well is deplete to start trying to replenish, right? It's like my brother, love him, older brother, love him a lot. But if you get in his car, he's always a few ticks from empty. He never fills up his car, right? And I'm not saying you got to fill it all the way up to the F, but he's never at a half a tank. He's never at a quarter of a tank. He's always like in between, like he's close to E. He goes to a gas station, he only puts enough in just to get it to that point. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because some of us function like that. Some of us function like that. And that's stressful. At least it is for me, right? To get in the car and you never know how much gas you actually have or how far you can actually go. You're living in a constant state of not enough. And so remove those barriers. You know what I mean? Don't wait till your tank is empty to refill it. Cast those cares, right? Cast those anxieties, those concerns, give them to Jesus, right? But play offense, not defense. That's not something that we wait to do. That is something that we constantly do, right? We find that joy in prayer and in meditation on the word and in spending time. But here's the last thing I'll say, because I didn't want this to be, well, actually a couple things, one more thing, and then the last thing, because I don't want this to be a long video, but take care of your mental health. You don't have to struggle from mental health, any mental health disorder or anything like that in order to experience poor mental health or experience difficulties with mental health. So take care of your mental health. And there's ways to do that, but take care of it. You know what I mean? Like, know what your boundaries are, know how to take care of your mental health, know what you can see a lot of and intake a lot of, and know what you can't. I remember when there was just a rash of, situations with unarmed black men that were happening all at one time, at least in the public's view. No matter where you stand on this, it was just a rash of them. And just knowing there was a mother and a father or someone out there that lost a loved one, the way these things happen, the frequency of these things happening, all of this type stuff, it just got overwhelming. And I had to turn it off. But I'm going to tell you, for my own mental health, but I'm going to tell you the guilt that came as a result of that, the difficulty, that came as a result of wanting to protect my own mental health. It was hard. It was, but you got to take care of your mental health. You have to. And if you're a person who has some issues with mental health, then you especially need to make sure that you are not traveling in the dark, or that you are not expending all of the that you're not putting too much on yourself. You got to get from underneath it and escape it. And again, that goes with turning it off, but also recognizing what your boundaries and your limits are. But the last thing I'll say is this is the most important thing, I think, mentally, that we need to grasp, especially those of us who follow Jesus, and especially those of us who are paying attention to what's happening in the world, those of us who are contributing in a certain way, especially those of us who are, online doing certain things. But I think all of us just who are overwhelmed by all of these things that are happening in your personal life, and just everybody who's going through it. This is one of the most important things that I think that we need to grasp as human beings, as especially those who follow Jesus, is that we are not meant to carry the weight of the world. Only Jesus can do that. We're not meant to carry the weight of the world. Only Jesus can. And you need to release yourself from the burden of feeling like you can consume and carry all of these things. You are limited in your person. You cannot carry all of those things, nor were you ever meant to, right? Only God can be tentative to every ear. Only God can be in tune with all that's happening and not be overwhelmed by it. And you need to understand, this is a word for you, that you are not meant to carry the weight of the world. And so you need to release yourself from that so that you can find health, peace, and wholeness, with this season of exhaustion. And again, I just think it's a difficult time to live in the world. And we just got to be cognizant of that and lean into that and, deal with the exhaustion in a way that's healthy, and put those boundaries up, and remember to cast all your cares on Jesus, because he is meant to carry the weight of the world, and you're not. So anyway, just thought I'd share some words. We'd love to hear your comments. Drop a comment below. Keep the conversation moving forward. And as always, please like, rate, and subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. God bless.